Today on Rattlesnake Workshop, I'm going to put this ROTEL RA310 back together. Now, it's had a service, I've been right through it with dioxin. I did find a couple of problems with this one. The little part inside it that selects the voltage wasn't in properly. It was half hanging out, so that could have been a problem with it. And also the plug, all the terminals in the plug were just finger tight and the plug was really dirty. This did have a problem with the volume, but I've had loads of dioxin in now and kept wiggling it about, putting a bit more dioxin in it, and it feels like the volume has come back to life. So hopefully this little ROTEL is good to go. It might still have something wrong with it. All I've really done is been right through it and given it a good service. So if you're interested in watching that, the video of me doing that is on the channel, where I go right through it and dioxin all the pots and the switches. Just go through everything on it, checking it over. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the faceplate back on it. Now this faceplate, it like locks onto 3 tabs along the top, and then you clip the bottom into place and it has 3 screws that go along the bottom. So I shall try and get it located properly and then turn it over and get the screws in. And there you go, I felt that go then, because it like locks on at the top on the little tabs. So let's turn it over and get the screws in. Now there's 3 screws here, 1 either side and 1 in the middle. And you have to lean the front panel forward to get the screws in and out. That is why I took the screws out the sides of the chassis, so I could lean it all forward to get to the screws. So there's the little screws, and I need the 3 little ones that had the little washers on them. So I'll just turn it round so you can see a bit better what I'm actually doing. Now this is a little magnetic screwdriver, which is making it easier because the screw is like holding on to the screwdriver. If you haven't got a magnetic screwdriver doing this, you're likely for the screws to fall down inside. It's not a problem if you drop the screw inside, but just make sure you find it. Do not leave it in there. If you drop a screw inside one of these amplifiers or something, you just have to find it. You cannot leave it rattling around in there. So I just get that 3rd screw into the faceplate, tighten it up nice and tight, and then the faceplate will be all screwed back on now, and then we'll put the screws in the sides of the chassis and tighten them back up. So I've turned it round and I'm just going to put the little screws in the side of the chassis. Now I only really took these screws out so I could lean it forward and get the screws out to take that faceplate off. That was because I had to get to a nut behind there to tighten the selector back up. If I didn't have to do that, I wouldn't have took this faceplate off. I would have left it on. So I'll just get the 2 little screws into this side and tighten them up, and then we'll turn it round and do exactly the same on the other side. So that's the first little screw in nice and tight. Let's do this second one, and don't go mad tightening these, just nip them up, because remember they are only like small little screws. Do not do them up with all your strength, you'll probably strip the threads. And like this ROTEL, this has been sitting like this for 3 days because I used a lot of dioxin in it, so I left it like this with no lid on, all open, just to let it dry right out. Because if you like do an amplifier or receiver, if you do it with dioxin, give it about 48 hours to dry before you plug it in, because you do not want wet dioxin in there. You want it to dry out properly. And I'd normally give it 48 hours, but where I put so much dioxin in the volume pot on this ROTEL, I've given it an extra day. It has had 72 hours to dry out, this ROTEL. So I just get hold of 2 of them long black screws, and they are the ones that hold the side plate on. So it's got nice wooden side plates on this, so you just locate them into place and then screw them on. And I have just bought myself a vintage Pioneer, a vintage receiver, a Pioneer SX434 from the early 70s. So on the listing, it says it doesn't work, it is totally dead. When you plug it in, it has no lights, it doesn't do anything, it gets no power whatsoever. But on the listing, it looked really nice condition, so that is why I've bought it. So that will be the next one to come onto this channel. It will be a vintage Pioneer SX434 receiver, and then hopefully if this ROTEL's working, we'll have this on my other channel, going through it, trying some different speakers out on it, doing different bits with it, seeing what this ROTEL's like. If it's still got any problems, it will be back on here where I will go through it a lot further. So that's the second side panel back on. I just nip up this front screw and that's done. So let's get on the top panel. Now this just slides into a little groove at the front and then just locates down, and then you put screws in the top. And there's only 3 screws for this. I just remembered now I'm putting it on. One of the screws was missing out of this when I bought it. So I did mean to find another one before I put it back together, because I will have a screw for this somewhere, but I didn't. So I just have to put it back together with 3 for now, and I'll put one in it later. So with this ROTEL, I've never even had this plugged in yet, this amplifier, because when I bought it, I was told it does make sound and it does work, but it cuts in and out and the sound was really distorted. So I didn't plug it in where it was cutting in and out, because you just might make matters worse. So I've been right through it first, and I did find problems that could have caused it to cut in and out, and I did find problems that could have caused it to sound terrible. So it's had a good service. I have done a few faults on it, so hopefully this ROTEL will be good to go now. We'll find out at the end of this, because I shall put a little set of speakers on it and we'll see if we can get any sound out of it, see if it is working. So I've just turned it over again and we'll put the base plate back on it. So there is 8 screws that hold this bottom plate on. There is 2 in every corner, and then all the screws will be back in this ROTEL, and it's just a matter of putting the knobs back on the front, and then we shall plug this ROTEL in, put a little set of speakers on it and see if it is working. And I'm looking forward to trying this ROTEL out, especially if it does work, because I do think this is going to have a good sound, this ROTEL. It's really nice inside, all the circuitry and that. It's a well designed bit of kit, this little ROTEL, and all the capacitors in it and all the parts in it, they are quality stuff. They are not cheap gear that is in this ROTEL, so I really do think this ROTEL could have a really nice sound to it. Now it's not going to have a massive sound because it's only 15 watts per channel, but it could have a really detailed, really nice sound, this ROTEL. And you do find that a lot with these little low powered amplifiers. What they lack in actual power, they make up for in detail and refinement. So I'll just put the selector back on, and that is the only big knob. The other 4 are exactly the same. So that's the volume one on, the balance one on, the treble one on, and then finally we will put the bass one on, and then the ROTEL is back together and she's looking nice. So just let me grab a couple of speaker cables, and then I shall grab a couple of speakers and we're trying the little ROTEL out. And now I'm going to use these speakers up here because they're not connected up at the minute. I was playing around with them the other day. I had them connected up to a little surround sound amp, but it's not in here no more. I've disconnected it. So let's get the other speaker down, and that's what we will try it on. Now these little speakers are Denon speakers, but they are actually made by Mission. They are sold as Denons, but made by Mission. So I'll just turn the amp round so you can see the back, and we connect some speaker cables up to it. So this one, it will take 2 sets of speakers, and it has got the little screw-in terminals. Now a lot of people don't like these screw-in terminals, but I like them because I think you can do them up really tight. So I kind of like these screw terminals. I think they're a good way of doing it. And the other thing I like about these terminals, if you do them up nice and tight, they never seem to come loose. Whereas a lot of speaker terminals, you do them up really tight when you put your speakers on them, and then 1 month later, when you feel them, they have come loose, and that is really bad for the sound of your speakers. You want really tight connections. So I'll just turn the amp round and put it back into place, and we connect the speakers up. Now these speakers are just a terminal where you put the cable through the hole of the binding post and then just tighten them up by hand. And these ones on these speakers, they will take the banana plugs as well, so you can connect these speakers up with the banana plug if you wanted to. So let's just get the cables into the other one. Just tighten it up nice and tight. So then we just put this last cable into the speakers, and then the speakers are connected and ready to go. And you'll see by the sticker on the back of them speakers, these speakers say designed and manufactured by Mission for Denon. So they are Mission speakers but sold by Denon. And you'll see now, just put a phono cable in the back of the ROTEL. It's weird, this ROTEL, because normally you get auxiliary, but this one is marked up as extra. So you've got your 2 phono connections, then your tuner, then extra, and your tape connections. Now I have seen that extra before on other amplifiers, but you don't see it much. Most of the time that connection is called auxiliary. So I just plug it in and then turn the power on. And then we should go round to the front of the ROTEL and see what happens. See if the little ROTEL fires into life. Hopefully she will. So we need to just push it back into place. Right, power, turn it on. Right, we've got a light, so that's a good sign. Make sure the volume's down. So I need it on extra because that is where I plugged my CD player into, and I connected up speakers number 1. So let's turn on speaker number 1. So let's go to my hi-fi cabinet, power up the CD player and push play, and then hopefully we shall have some sound coming out of the ROTEL, and hopefully it'll be nice sound and not distorted sound. So let's go back to the ROTEL and the moment of truth. Let's give it a tiny little bit of volume and see what happens. Oh, and you know what? That sounds nice. I've only just turned it up a little bit, but that is not distorting. That sounds clear as anything. So I'm trying to balance that side of the speakers as sounding good. Let's try to balance on the other speaker. Right, that speaker's sounding nice. So this little ROTEL sounds like it's working properly. That really does. That sounds really clear. That is not distorting at all. So all I'm going to do with this ROTEL is leave it running low for like half hour and let it warm right up. because I don't know the last time this Rotel was run, and if an amp hasn't been run for a long time, you should just play it low and let it warm right up. So that's what I'm going to do with this, and if it's good, you shall see it next time on my other channel. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.